The drama that you're about to see, Jehovah Rewards His Loyal Ones, takes place during King Saul's reign. And it's during the latter part of King Saul's reign that this drama takes place. The other main characters of the drama are David, and David has become very popular in all the eyes of Israel because of his mighty victories over the Philistines. Jonathan, Saul's son, is a very loyal friend of David. And notice some of the things that Jonathan says during the drama. David's nephew, Abishai, is also a very loyal person, but take note of some of the things and reactions of Abishai during the drama. Would you have reacted under similar circumstances? It is the circumstances of David becoming very popular to the extent that Saul becomes very jealous and envious of David, and he wants to kill David. So David has to flee into the wilderness. And during that period of time, David goes down to the high priest Ahimelech. And he goes down to the high priest Ahimelech for nourishment, and he receives something from Ahimelech, which you will notice during the drama, which even stirs up the rage within Saul even more. Ahimelech's son, the other main character of the drama, Abiathar, is also a very notable character in this drama. So as the drama now unfolds, brothers and sisters, we ask you the question as you look at the drama, Jehovah Rewards His Loyal Ones, what would your reaction be to these circumstances?
The Israelites had demanded a king from Jehovah. He gave them Saul, son of Kish, for 40 years. But Saul acted presumptuously. He failed to obey Jehovah's commands. He relied on his own wisdom. He did things his own way and abused his authority, and the judgments of Jehovah against him proved to be progressively more severe. And then, unknown to Saul and without removing Saul from the throne, Jehovah anointed David to be Israel's next king, a man after Jehovah's own heart, who fearlessly struck down the giant Goliath and routed the enemy Philistines. The Bible record says,
the women began coming out from all the cities of Israel with song and dances to meet Saul the king with tambourines, with rejoicing and with lutes. And the women that were celebrating kept responding and saying, Saul has struck down his thousands, and David his tens of thousands. And Saul began to be very angry, and was continuously looking suspiciously at David from that day forward.
how would your loyalty to Jehovah stand up under such trying circumstances? Would it impel you to wait on Jehovah to act, instead of running ahead, trying to correct the situation yourself? How did David react? Here is King Saul talking to his son, Jonathan.
You well know, Jonathan, there's no peace in the heart of David toward me. He is deliberately turning the hearts of all Israel away from me, their king, in order to find favor with them, because he harbors animosity and is seeking the kingdom for himself.
Why should you sin against your servant David, my father? For he has not sinned toward you, and his works have been only good toward you.
How long can he continue to stand before me and not begin to covet my throne? Has he already begun to look upon me as in my declining years? Does he think his youth and the favor of fickle women can earn for him my throne? I can still pin him to the wall with one thrust of the spear.
My lord the king, Please, Father, why should you sin against innocent blood in having David put to death for nothing? Did you not swear, as Jehovah is living, he will not be put to death?
You son of a rebellious maid! Do I not well know that you are choosing the son of Jesse to your own shame and the shame of your mother? For all the days that the son of Jesse is alive on the ground, you and your kingship will not be firmly established.
If Jehovah wills, so be it. But so may Jehovah do to me, and so may he add to it, if either David or I have any animosity toward you, my lord the king.
Have David brought in to me. Let him play on his harp. Bring him in at once. It may be that Jehovah's bad spirit will depart from me. Oh, my God! My God! My God! Why does this bad spirit keep tormenting me? Why can my soul not find peace like other men? Oh, that I could bury myself in Sheol. Oh, that I could hide myself from your face, that I could flee far from before you. David, my son, I well know that you will without fail rule as king, and that in your hand the kingdom of Israel will certainly endure. You are more righteous than I am, for it is you that has rendered me good, and it is I who have rendered you evil. Have I not twice sought to pin you to the wall with my spear? And have you not on both occasions turned aside so that my spear struck into the wall? But why? Why should you be preferred ahead of me? Am I like God that I cannot sin? Samuel, Samuel, if you had only stood by me. Now I am in constant torment. When will David turn on me? When will Jehovah raise his hand against me to strike me down? How can I live with this evil suspicion gnawing at my bowels? I will yet pin David. Yes, I will yet pin David even to the wall and rid my soul forever of this agony that is within me. Is that you, David, my son?
It is I, my lord the king. Your servant, David, is before you.
Then play on your harp, David. It may be that Jehovah will remove this bad spirit that is tormenting me.
Consequently, Saul sought to pin David to the wall with a spear, but he dodged from before Saul so that he struck the spear into the wall. As for David, he ran away and made his escape and got to come to Samuel at Ramah. And he proceeded to tell him all that Saul had done to him. Later, David came into Nob to Ahimelech the priest, and Ahimelech began to tremble at meeting David. And Abiathar, his son, was there with him.
Why is it that you are by yourself, and no one is with you?
The king himself commanded me as to a matter, and he went on to say to me, let no one know anything at all of the matter concerning which I am sending you, and concerning which I have commanded you. And I have made an appointment with the young men for such and such a place. And now, if there are 5 loaves of bread at your disposal, just give them into my hand, or whatever may be found.
There is no ordinary bread under my hand, but there is holy bread, provided that the young men have at least kept themselves from womankind.
But womankind has been kept away from us, the same as formerly when I went out. And the organisms of the young men continue holy, although the mission itself is ordinary. And how much more so today, when one becomes holy in his organism.
The showbread has just been removed from before Jehovah, so as to place fresh bread there. I will get it for you.
Abiathar, do you know that man over there?
Yes, that's Doeg, the Edomite, the principal one of the servants that belonged to Saul.
Beware of him. Even though he's a proselyte, he is an evil man, one who has no love for Jehovah or respect for his servants.
Here are the loaves, David, my son. May Jehovah bless your mission.
Thank you, my lord Ahimelech. And is there nothing here at your disposal, a spear or a sword? For neither my own sword nor my weapons did I take in my hand, because the king's matter proved to be urgent.
The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you struck down in the low plain of Elah. Here it is, wrapped up in a mantle behind the ephod. If it is what you would take for yourself, take it, because there is no other except it.
There is none like it. Give it to me.
Then David rose up and continued running away on account of Saul. And Saul got to hear that David and the men that were with him had been discovered.
Listen, please, you Benjaminites. Will the son of Jesse also give to all of you fields and vineyards? Will he appoint all of you chiefs of thousands and chiefs of hundreds? For you have conspired, all of you, against me. And there is no one disclosing it to my ear. When my own son concludes a covenant with the son of Jesse, and there is no one of you having sympathy for me and disclosing to my ear that my own son has raised up my own servant against me as a liar in ambush, the way it is this day.
I saw the son of Jesse come to Nob, to Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, and he proceeded to inquire of Jehovah for him. And provisions he gave him, and the sword of Goliath the Philistine he gave him.
Bring here to me Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub the priest, and all the house of his father. Go, Doeg, at once!
At once, my lord.
Why is it, my father, that you continue to feel enmity toward David, your servant, and toward me, your son? All the servants of my Lord know that neither David nor I have any animosity toward you, nor is David seeking your life.
See? My own son, the chief one to conspire with David against me. All of you are witnesses. Abner,
Yes, my lord?
why did you not disclose to my ear that my own son had concluded a covenant with the son of Jesse?
How could I, my lord, when it was not made known to me until this moment when my lord spoke of it? We are all your servants, my lord.
My lord the king, you sent for me?
Listen, please, you son of a high-tub.
Here I am, my lord.
Why have you men conspired against me? You and the son of Jesse, by your giving him bread and a sword, and there being an inquiry of God for him to rise up against me.
My lord the king, who among all your servants is like David, faithful, and the son-in-law of the king, and a chief over your bodyguard, and honored in your house? Is it today that I have started to inquire of God for him? It is unthinkable on my part. Do not let the king lay anything against his servant, and against the entire house of my father. For in all this your servant did not know a thing small or great.
It is by your own mouth that you have said it. You will positively die, Ahimelech. You with all the house of your father. You men, turn and put to death the priests of Jehovah, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew that he was a runaway, and they did not disclose it to my ear.
No, my lord. David said only that he was on a mission for the king. How could we know that the king was displeased with his servant, a man who has shown only loyalty to my lord the king?
Assault them!
But, my lord, these are the priests of Jehovah, and Ahimelech himself as the high priest. How can we lift up our hands against the servants of the Almighty God?
You, Doeg, turn and assault the priests.
As you say, my
Do not spare one man of his, all the priests.
Immediately Doeg the Edomite turned, and himself assaulted the priests, and put to death on that day 85 men bearing an ephod of linen. Even Nob, the city of the priests, he struck with the edge of the sword, man as well as woman, child as well as suckling, and bull and ass and sheep with the edge of the sword. However, one son of Ahimelech, whose name was Abiathar, made his escape and went running away to follow David. And Saul proceeded to take 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and to go looking for David and his men upon the bare rocks of the mountain goats. At length he came to the stone sheepfolds along the road, where a cave was. So Saul came in to ease nature, while David and his men were in the parts of the cave farthest back, sitting down.
Someone approaches. It's an army of men. Several thousand. They've stopped down the road by the stone sheepfolds and... Look, Saul is coming along the road by himself.
Saul, coming up here, alone.
David, my lord, here is the day on which Jehovah does say to you, look, I'm giving your enemy into your hand, and you must do to him just as it may seem good in your eyes. Strike him down now, even as he would do to you.
Must you continue to be a resistor of me, Abishai? Here, you men, go into the parts of the cave farthest back, and be quiet until we see what it is that my lord the king will do.
Okay, get my sword. Okay, go farther back.
What is David doing, Abishai?
It's a little hard to see, Abiathar, but it looks like he's coming up behind Saul.
Is he going to kill him?
I don't know. Strike him down, David. Strike him now.
What's the matter? What's happening?
David just cut the tail off Saul's sleeveless coat. And now he's hiding behind a rock where Saul can't see him. And look, Saul is leaving the cave. He's getting away. And David is coming back here. Why did you not strike Saul down when he was given into your hand? Let me even now go out after Saul, and I can even now put him to death with my spear.
Enough, Abishai. Put up your spear. And you men, stop your clamoring. See how I have humiliated my lord?
It's a piece of Saul's coat.
It is unthinkable on my part, from Jehovah's standpoint, that I should do this thing to my lord, the anointed of Jehovah, by thrusting out my hand against him. For he is the anointed of Jehovah. Be gone now, all of you, and do not rise up against Saul. May Jehovah judge between me and him, and may Jehovah take vengeance for me upon him. But my own hand will not come to be upon my lord the king.
Why would David insist on such loyalty to a man so determined to put him to death, so faithless in fulfilling his commission as Jehovah's anointed, so plainly rejected already by Jehovah? Because Jehovah had not yet removed Saul from the throne. David had been anointed by Jehovah to replace Saul, but not to do away with him. David knew it is Jehovah who exalts, and it is Jehovah who puts down. And David's love and awesome fear of Jehovah impelled him to wait loyally, knowing that no one unauthorized could thrust out his hand against the anointed of Jehovah and remain innocent. But David was not inactive. He occupied himself in fighting Israel's enemies. And though Jehovah backed him up, David still had a further test of his reliance upon Jehovah. The Bible record says,
So David rose up, and he and 600 men that were with him passed over to Achish, the son of Maoch, the Philistine, king of Gath. Accordingly, Achish gave him the city of Ziklag on that day. And the number of the days that David dwelt in the countryside of the Philistines came to be 1 year and 4 months. And it came about in those days that the Philistines began to collect their camps for the army to make war against Israel. And David and his men were passing along afterward with Achish.
Why would David join with Achish and the Philistine Axis lords in fighting against our own people?
Did you not want to see Saul put to death?
But when Saul was delivered into his hand, David would not lift up his sword against Saul. Why now would he go out against our own people?
David has not disclosed to me his reasoning on this matter, Abiathar. But why do you always doubt and distrust David? Has he not acted discreetly in making peace with Achish? In providing Ziklag, a secure place against Saul for all of us, and for our wives and our little ones, and all the while carrying on raids against Israel's enemies, the Geshurites and the Girzites and the Amalekites?
Yes, true, Abishai. And at the same time, causing Achish to believe we were fighting against Judah and those of our own people. So now Achish thinks that David has become a stench among his own people, Israel, that David will have to serve him.
But the rest of the Axis lords did not trust David. Now, see, they've sent us home, back to Ziklag, and would not let us go up to fight with them against Saul.
It is good. Perhaps Jehovah has so arranged it.
But it is not good in the eyes of the men, Abiathar. They are restless and believe that David was wrong in what he did, and I fear that they... Look! Abiathar, is that not smoke rising up from the plain?
It is. It's Ziklag, the city.
David, look! Ziklag is on fire!
Our wives and our little ones. What has become of
the
them?
Amalekites that have done
They have surely made a raid on Ziklag and carried off everything.
Not have left the city undefended.
It is distressing to me that this has happened. and that the soul of all my people have become bitter. Each one because of his sons and his daughters. But is it not enough that we have seen this happening without provoking Jehovah to anger against us this day? Please, my brothers, let us inquire of Jehovah and see what may be the cause of this disaster. Let us strengthen ourselves by Jehovah our God, and let me please inquire of Jehovah. Shall we chase after this marauder band, and shall we overtake them? Come, Abiathar, as priest, do please bring the holy ephod near to me, and use it to seek Jehovah's direction for us in this matter.
David always said that Jehovah is against our own people. See what David has said too far. Not David always said that Jehovah is a just God. We have lost Jesus.
Listen now, my brothers. Jehovah has heard our cries of despair, and he has answered us and said, "Go in chase, for you will without fail overtake them. And you will without fail make a deliverance."
May Jehovah strengthen our arm.
Have faith in Jehovah, my brothers. He will direct us to those who have despoiled the city, and be confident that Jehovah will restore everything into our hand. This is the word of Jehovah.
Be strong. Jehovah will strengthen our arm. Jehovah, give us strength. We will overtake the Amalekite.
And David went striking down the Amalekites from the morning darkness until the evening, that he might devote them to destruction. And David got to deliver all that the Amalekites had taken, and there was nothing of theirs lacking. Now about the same time, to the north near Mount Gilboa, the Philistines were fighting against Israel, and the Philistines kept in close range of Saul and his sons, and the shooters, the bowmen, finally found him, and he got severely wounded by the shooters. So Saul took the sword and fell upon it. Thus Saul and his 3 sons and his armor-bearer, even all his men, came to die together on that day. And it came about after Saul's death, and when David himself had returned from striking down the Amalekites, that on the 3rd day, look, a man was coming from the camp from Saul.
Where do you come from?
From the camp of Israel I have escaped.
How did the matter turn out? Tell me, please.
The people have fled from the battle, and also many of the people have fallen so that they died. And even Saul and Jonathan his son have died.
How do you really know that Saul has died? And also Jonathan his son?
I unexpectedly chanced to be upon Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul supporting himself upon his spear. And look, the charioteers and the mounted men had caught up with him. When he turned back and saw me, then he called me, and I said, "Here I am." And he went on to say to me, "Who are you?" At which I said to him, "I am an Amalekite." Then he said, "Stand, please, over me, and definitely put me to death, for the cramp has seized me, because all my soul is yet in me." So I stood over him and definitely put him to death, for I knew that he could not live after he had fallen. Then I took the diadem that was upon his head and the bracelet that was upon his arm, that I might bring them to my Lord here.
Saul and Jonathan dead.
Where are you from?
I'm the son of an alien resident, an Amalekite.
How was it that you did not fear to thrust your hand out to bring the anointed of Jehovah to ruin? Go near. Smite him. the blood guilt for you be upon your own head. Because your mouth has testified against you, saying, I myself definitely put the anointed of Jehovah to death.
Accordingly, he struck him down so that he died. And it came about afterward that David took up dwelling in the cities of Hebron territory. And all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron. And they anointed David as king over all Israel.
David, a model of loyalty. Though bitterly hated and persecuted by Saul, he never returned evil for evil, never lifted his hand, never even spoke evil against Saul. Instead, his unswerving loyalty to Jehovah impelled him to uphold Jehovah's authority, even when Saul, as Jehovah's anointed, was abusing it. And when Jehovah did not remove Saul at a time when others might, David was willing to wait in loyalty to Jehovah and his anointed one. Of him, centuries later, Jehovah said, I have found David, a man agreeable to my heart, who will do all the things I desire. Will Jehovah say the same of you? Will you always wait for Jehovah to act? Will your loyalty to Jehovah impel you to be loyal to the means he uses to perform his works, even though entrusted to the hands of imperfect men? Will you be loyal to Jehovah's approved anointed ones? Then in turn Jehovah, through his anointed greater David, Jesus Christ, will act in loyalty with you, for Jehovah rewards his loyal ones.